All right, well, good morning and welcome everybody. Welcome to our virtual roundtable with the U.S. Energy Secretary, Jennifer Granholm, to talk about STEM education, one of my favorite topics. We are so lucky to be joined here today by two UTD students. That, for those of you who don't know, that's the University of Texas at Dallas, Andrei Racila and Wil Teague. Both are recipients of the Department of Energy Science Undergraduate Laboratory internships, which I don't think they just give out. You have to earn those. Andrei will be interning at the Brookhaven National Laboratory, and William will be interning at the Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory. I can't even imagine the incredible work they're going to be doing. They are among 48 awardees from colleges in the state of Texas for summer programs related to workforce development in STEM fields. This program encourages undergraduate students and recent college graduates to pursue STEM careers by providing research experiences at the Department of Energy National Laboratories. It's a great program. And, North Texas actually has a really strong history and legacy in the STEM fields from even when the Texas Instruments invested and helped found the University of Texas at Dallas, which is now one of our greatest institutions here, so they could help train the next generation of high-tech workers. And that pipeline, as we're seeing today, still exists. In North Texas, the need to invest in STEM education and to provide pathways to success in STEM is so clear. In 2020, the DFW Metroplex had the sixth largest concentration of high-tech jobs in the entire United States, totaling more than 250,000. And the entire Texas middle skill STEM workforce is projected to increase by 24% to nearly 1.5 million workers in the next decade. That's a lot of folks working. And additionally, potential earnings for STEM jobs are nearly double that of other jobs in Texas. And approximately 80% of the fastest growing occupations in Texas are in STEM fields. So to address this growing need for STEM education, I've worked to connect students to what learning and working in these fields is actually like. That's why I created the STEM Scholars Program for rising sophomores and juniors and seniors who live in or attend high schools located within my district here in North Texas. My STEM Scholars Program aims to connect highly motivated high school students interested in science, technology, engineering, and math with hands-on learning experiences throughout the district and during the school year. For example, we visited the facilities at UTD and at Texas A&M's AgriLife Extension here in Dallas. We've connected high schoolers with research students and gave them a hands-on look at programs in urban agriculture, computer sciences, virtual and augmented reality, and artificial intelligence. And as our economy continues to grow and we face new challenges, it's so important that we encourage our young people from all backgrounds, and I really mean that, and I know the Secretary does as well, to go into the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math. And that's why we're here today. And we are so happy, and I'm proud to introduce the Secretary of Energy, Jennifer Granholm. Secretary Granholm was actually a professor of mine when I was in law school, and she's of course also the former governor of Michigan, and I am so thrilled to be speaking with her today and with Andrei and William. So Secretary Granholm, with that, I will turn it over to you.
Great. Thank you so much, Congressman Allred. So proud of what you're doing. Thanks for having me here today, virtually anyway. I so appreciate that lowering the cost of higher education and really expanding access to vocational and to trade schools were key motivations why you first ran for office. They remain top priorities, and your leadership in science, technology, engineering, and math is amazing. So thank you for being not just a talker, but somebody who walks the talk on this in your leadership, and for bringing us together today. So, and let me congratulate our two all-star students, Andrei and Wil. I know that both of you just wrapped up a busy semester of school, but we at the Department of Energy, we can't wait to welcome you into our family with internships at these two amazing national labs. Wil and Andrei, as Representative Allred suggested, they're two of 1,000 students and faculty, including the 48 awardees from Texas, of 1,000 recently announced through DOE's summers. We have a summer research program that really focuses on this, including the Science Undergraduate Laboratory internships programs. So this is a subset of the overall internships that we are offering. And this program gives students really hands-on experience at DOE's national laboratories that will set them up, we hope, for the career of their dreams. DOE, the Department of Energy, has 17 national laboratories. They are the crown jewels of the United States' research and development efforts on all manner of things, but obviously energy being a big focus. And these guys are going to be working alongside some of the most brilliant scientists and engineers in the world. They're going to be collaborating with them and learning from them and helping them advance these mission critical research projects that will affect the future of our nation. No small task. So President Biden also recognizes just how much rides on our ability to support more research and development and to build a skilled and diverse STEM workforce, whether it's to keep our people safe or our economy growing or our planet from suffering the catastrophic impacts of the climate crisis. And you can see that commitment in this proposal that he has put forth called the American Jobs Plan, which is before Congress right now for consideration, and which calls for tens of billions of dollars in investments in our nation's researchers and laboratories and universities, not to mention our ability to compete on the global stage. And so once we get that American Jobs Plan passed, we're going to be looking to bright young folks like Wil and Andrei to bring these investments and ideas to life. Our goal with all of these programs really is to give students the tools to flourish in long and rewarding STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math careers, because we need every solution and innovation and viewpoint we can get, especially with everything that we have to accomplish. We need more folks figuring out how to deploy clean energy at scale. We need them working on tools and algorithms to unlock the secrets of the universe. We need them building critical technologies that power our way of life right here at home. And we need an inclusive range of voices in the lab and in the field, asking questions and making observations and identifying the broadest range of needs so we can ensure we're creating the very best solutions for the American people. So that's what I'm excited for. I know we all want to hear from Wil and Andrei, and so I'm going to turn it back to you, Congressman, and then maybe I'll follow up with a couple of questions too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I started the STEM Scholars Program because I wanted to try and open some of the doors that DOE is working on right now to high school students and to, you know, expose them to what these fields of work are going to be like. And Wil and Andrei, you know, I guess I would really like to ask you how you think we could get more students involved and interested in STEM fields, because, you know, that's, I think, the task for all of us, as the Secretary said, is that we not only want to make those avenues available, we want to make it available to everyone. And I think part of that, of course, is getting people interested in it. So what do you think we can do to help more students get involved in STEM? And Wil, do you want to go first, since you're on my Brady Bunch screen here, the closest to me, and then Andrei, you can go.
Absolutely. Yes. So back in my hometown, they had conventions where they would bring engineers and scientists from different businesses all around the area to the convention center, and they would have this little display of what they would do with their jobs and have some different experiments and stuff just to show off how cool STEM can be. And that's what really got me into STEM. And so I think that more opportunities like that for children around the area, and that would be a phenomenal opportunity just to show how cool our field can be.
Absolutely, absolutely. Andrei,
I have something similar to that. Like from personal experience, what got me into STEM initially was my family has a very strong STEM background. My mom has a background in engineering from Romania. My uncle, one of them is a programmer, and I have another uncle who's a pathologist. But other than that, throughout my entire career and through school, I had many opportunities. Like in elementary school, my mom heavily pushed me to be in the gifted and talented programs and the honors programs and AP courses. And middle school, I got the opportunity to attend, programming camps at UT Dallas, where I learned, web development. In high school, I had access to the computer club and many other clubs I met regularly. And now I have some amazing professors that I got to work under and be taught by UT Dallas. So yeah, I think just having amazing mentors in my life in general really pushed me to go into STEM.
No, I think that's really critical, having mentors. And my mom was a teacher, my aunt was a teacher, and I think we all know also how important just having someone, whether they're a mentor or a teacher, someone to bring you into these fields is. Madam Secretary, you heard UT Dallas being mentioned a lot there, not only as a college, but helping kids growing up. It's such an important resource for us. And I'll just ask one more question, just asking you all, I know you talked about what got you into it, but what you're inspired by in STEM, what do you want to do? What are you excited about? And then after that, I'll turn it back to the Secretary to ask you some questions. And Andrei, since you went last time, why don't you go first this time?
Thank you so much. So my future plans include ideally getting a PhD. It's probably going to be in computer science, but mostly I want to teach in some capacity. I've taught before. I used to work in high school teaching elementary school kids the basics of computer programming, and it was a lot of fun, though the kids were a little bit, since they're little kids, they're a bit hard to keep focused. But it gave me a great experience, just to trying to communicate such complex ideas in a understandable and coherent manner. And so hopefully in the future, not only would I get to teach university students, but also just students of any age really, and hopefully run my own camps if possible.
I think the Secretary would probably agree that it's not just when they're little that they're hard to keep focused.
That's so true.
Definitely. Wil?
But that wasn't you.
Yeah, no, not me. Yeah.
Yes, I'm looking forward to, I want to eventually get my PhD in plasma physics, and then I would like to research on sustainable energies for the future.
Well, I think you're talking to the right person then.
That's totally awesome. Wil, so can I follow up, Congressman?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so Wil, I'm so curious about this because I think, if my sources tell me correctly, you took a course called Introduction to Fusion Energy and Plasma Physics, right? And that's what sparked your passion for plasma physics. So I want you to, my 86-year-old mother is watching. So tell us a little bit about what plasma physics is and why she would care about it, and tell it to us in a way that she would understand. If you can, that's a big task. But.
I'll do my best. But yes, as you said, I went to that introduction camp by Princeton, and that is through the same internship that I have now. So that's what got me into wanting to be an intern at Princeton. And plasma physics is a wonderful thing. The sun uses plasma and it collides particles together to create energy, and that's through the fusion process. So that all comes from the sun, and that's how the sun makes all of its energy, and that's how the earth gets all of its energy and stuff like that. So what we're trying to do, what scientists are trying to do, is to make that, but on Earth. And so they have fusion reactors, which is what they're working for. That's the energy of the future, I like to think. And I will be working this summer with creating enhanced diverter designs for stellaritors. And stellaritors are vessels where they hold the plasma, and that's where the fusion can happen. So I will be working on the diverter, which is basically the fuel exhaust. And so that will just make the stellaritor more sustainable and will make fusion possibly a reality in the future.
It's so exciting because DOE's Princeton Plasma Physics Laboratory is obviously at the cutting edge of all of this. And for other people who are watching, fusion is different than fission. They're both nuclear science, but fission is what you see in your nuclear reactors. That fission splits atoms and fusion pushes them together, as Wil said. And the good thing about fusion is that it doesn't create any waste. like you see with the fission process. So it's exciting and it's future, and the United States government has really invested a good amount of funds into this. It may be a few years out yet, but Wil is going to be there right as it's happening and making sure that we have this clean energy, because it is like the holy grail of clean energy that he's going to crack the code for us on. So thanks, Wil, so very much. Now, Andrei, you are going to be at Brookhaven National Laboratory, and you, since you're a computer science guy, you're going to be in what is known as distributed databases. Now, again, my 86-year-old mother's watching. Maybe you can tell her what are some of the real world applications of that work. What does it mean to be doing work in distributed databases?
Well, I mean, distributed databases, as its name implies, this is databases spread all over the place, because I mean, it would be nice if, Google or Facebook could keep all their servers in one data center, but they have to serve the customers all over the globe, and it would be feasibly basically impossible. So yeah, the work I'm going to be doing is pretty cool, considering, have real world applications, considering these distributed databases, they're pretty battle tested, they're pretty robust, and obviously they work pretty well, as we can use Google and Amazon services every day, right? But they still have some flaws. Maybe, if there's some weird occurrence where like everybody, logs on the same time, or somehow one server goes down and somehow has a domino effect on the other ones. So things like that do happen, but very rarely. But we ideally want to prevent those things from happening in the first place, or even just maybe once in a millennia. And so the research I'm going to be doing at Brookhaven not only will test these databases that all these tech companies use, but actually develop our own one that's more fault tolerant, which is pretty cool, considering, right now, I think my mentor is at Brookhaven is in talks with his team with a team developing a database that's used by so many tech companies, which is pretty cool.
That is awesome. I mean, we're at a moment where we have seen so many vulnerabilities in our IT systems, and that includes, of course, hacking as well. But the issues of redundancy and resiliency and making sure that our data is safe is such a critical problem that needs to be solved. If for so many applications, it's obviously important in the energy sphere, but it's really important for all sorts of applications. So that's exciting that you'll be there. I'm excited that you'll have a mentor. You've just described, of course, the students that are part of these internships will have mentors so that they are Sherpa'd through the system, as we say. And hopefully you'll be able, even though you'll be getting your PhD, I assume, will you be getting your PhD, do you think, in computer science? Is that what you're thinking of?
Most likely. I mean, my big interests right now include quantum computing. I haven't declared it yet, but I've taken some physics classes recently. It's on thermodynamics and statistical mechanics, and hopefully next semester I can actually take a quantum mechanics class at UT.
Okay. On behalf of my mother, now you have to describe what quantum computing is.
Oh, yeah, I'll try to give the very, very condensed
The Reader's Digest version is fine.
Okay. So there are some problems that the classical computers will take basically forever to run on. And these things, one of them I can describe as like the traveling salesman problem. Basically, you have a bunch of cities, and you have a person who's traveling to every single city. But the problem is you want the person to travel to each city at most once, and in the shortest amount of time possible. And you'd think that would be pretty straightforward for computers, but in reality, it really isn't. And so quantum computing has the capability to actually help us solve problems that once were seemed impossible. at least with classical computers like, your laptop or even the supercomputers they have at Oak Ridge or whatever. These computers have the capability to literally exponentially solve problems that will basically help us simulate protein folding, or, to help produce better drugs, or even, help businesses, design their logistics systems better. It's really amazing technology. It's still in the very early phases though, but private companies and laboratories under the Department of Energy are working on this technology, which is pretty cool.
It is really cool. I hope you get a chance to see some of the exascale computers, these massive computers that are doing these calculations that are just no human being could possibly do. I mean, it is just amazing what they're capable of doing. It's very exciting to be part of that ecosystem. So excited that you guys are going to be part of it as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. Congressman Allred, I don't know if you have any closing remarks, but I'm happy to sign us off too.
Sure, I'll just say something and hand it back to you, Madam Secretary, and you can finish us off. And I'll just begin by thanking you for spending some time with us, and thanking the folks at the Department of Energy for taking in a couple of our own here and giving them some exposure in these fields that they very clearly know and I think are going to do incredible things. And Wil and Andrei, we are so proud of you. And Wil is a French horn, is that right? That he plays, and he's a man of many talents. Andrei's son of Romanian immigrants who's already doing incredible things, and we're so proud of you. And if there's anything we can do for you while you're on your internships, just make sure you let us know. This has been great for us, I think, to talk in this roundtable just about what got you into STEM and what we can do to help others. And just hearing the things that you're working on, I feel already a little bit smarter. So with that, I'll just say, whether it's expanding Pell Grants or the American Jobs Plan, and giving access to community college or to great universities like the University of Texas at Dallas, I know that if we work together, we can make sure that stories like Andrei and Wil's are not so rare, and that folks from all backgrounds have a chance to pursue, whatever their version of the American dream is. And we know that here in the United States, it's still possible that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And my job and the Secretary's job is to make sure we make that available to y'all. So with that, Madam Secretary, I'll let you finish us off. And again, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh my goodness. Amen to all of that. And Andrei and Wil, thank you as well for joining us today, for being sort of the example. In order, you need mentors, but you also need examples. So for young people who are watching today, this could be you too. You could also move into careers that are solving the biggest problems on the planet. If you choose to move into science, technology, engineering, and math degrees. I am super excited for Wil and Andrei, and I hope you come knocking on DOE's door again, because in case I haven't stressed it enough, we need you. So I hope this is a great experience this summer, and hope you consider returning to us. And don't forget these brilliant world-class scientists and engineers that you'll be working with at our national labs. They started out just like you, and hopefully like those who might be watching today. So the future is bright, not just your future, but America's future is bright with you at the helm. And Congressman Allred, America's future is bright with you at the helm as well. Thank you so much for bringing us together to highlight these remarkable young men and all they're going to do for American innovation. And thank you so much for your leadership.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, and thanks, Wil and Andrei.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Congressman and Secretary Granholm. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.